Hey everybody, this is Danelle. Welcome to Networkchain and our weekly recap video. What a week it has been. There's been a lot of news that has come out over the past 7 days, and let's go ahead and get right into it with the cryptocurrency market. Currently, as you can see, Bitcoin is trading at $30,322. It's actually down by a small percentage point at 0.15% over the last 7 days, but given some of the news that has occurred over this past week, it actually had a nice little bump up to around 31,000 or so. It's come back down a little bit back to the mean, but we are seeing some exuberance in the cryptocurrency space, especially when it comes to some of the altcoins. As you can see, Ethereum is up 3.53% over that $1,900 level. Then we have XRP, which we will get to in a moment, which is the biggest news of the week. It is up over 53% over the past 7 days, currently trading at around 72 cents. Then we have Cardano that's up over 12%. Solana doing very well, up over 24%. Dogecoin, is at 8.29%. And Polygon rounding out the top 10 at 15.92%. So let's get to the biggest news story of the week. The SEC, in its lawsuit against Ripple Labs and XRP token, has now been ruled by a judge that the XRP token, if it was traded on a exchange, is not considered a security. So this has been something that has been waited for several years when the SEC first filed suit against Ripple Labs and the XRP token. And as you can see, since we received the news a couple days ago, this is what you call a skyrocket. This went from 47 cents upwards of 85 cents in one day. It actually went up over 70% in one day earlier this week. And you can see it's still holding above that 70-cent level. So we'll see how long that holds. There may be some more of a drawback as the exuberance starts to die down a little bit. But it is a big victory, not only for XRP, but also potentially for a lot of other coins that were named as potential securities in the recent lawsuit that was filed by the SEC against Coinbase, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the United States. And Coinbase promptly decided to go ahead and relist XRP after this decision. So you can now trade XRP on the Coinbase exchange. And it's been a couple of years now since you've been able to do that. So this news has been astronomical, as you can see, for the XRP token. And also there's some exuberance, generally speaking, in the cryptocurrency space. And as we mentioned, Bitcoin saw a little bit of a bump up. As you can see, it went above 31,000 on July 13th, but it pulled back a little bit to its normal range. And you can see we're still ranging in this $30,000 range. And it's been like this for the past month or so. So we're still waiting to see if Bitcoin is going to have another jump up, or is it going to actually come back down for a little while. So time will obviously tell, but we also got some other really good news from the macroeconomic environment in terms of inflation is now starting to come down. It is now down to around 3%, which is lower than some of the expectations of Wall Street. So we still hear that the Federal Reserve could potentially raise rates at least one more time by another 25 basis points, and we'll find that out at the end of this month. But it did cause equities to go up as well this week. So not only has the stock market seen a bump up, especially when you look at the NASDAQ, which is a tech-heavy index, and the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the market. Those indices both did very well. And as you can see, this past week, crypto for the most part has done pretty well as well. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper, there are plenty of articles, plenty of videos, that have been done on what's going on with XRP and the recent news from the lawsuit. As you can see here from the New York Times, a judge ruled that the sale of the cryptocurrency XRP on public exchanges like Coinbase, so they went ahead and the same day made an announcement that they were going to allow Ripple to be traded on its exchange. that the sale of that cryptocurrency did not violate securities law. So this could potentially be a blow to the SEC in the lawsuit that they filed against Coinbase because they listed a number of other cryptocurrencies slash altcoins in their suit, claiming that they could be securities. So given this decision by a judge, this could potentially hurt the SEC, and we could find that some of those other cryptocurrencies, if they're exchanged and traded on a centralized exchange like Coinbase, that is not considered to be a sale of a security. So if you read this article, you can learn a little bit more about the details. But as you can see, last month, the SEC sued Coinbase and Binance, accusing them of marketing unregistered securities to the public. But the ruling on Thursday in the case involving XRP, Ripple, which is the company that overlooks the XRP token, may complicate that argument and provide fodder for the crypto industry to defend itself in court. So they sued Ripple in December of 2020. So it's now 3 years later that we have received this ruling from Annalisa Torres in the U.S. Southern District of New York, and she said that Ripple did not break any law when the cryptocurrency it created was sold on public exchanges. So this is a big win for Ripple and XRP, and Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple and one of the founders of the XRP token, notes in his tweet here that the most important part of this ruling is that XRP as a digital token is not in and of itself a contract, transaction, or scheme that embodies the Howey requirements of an investment contract. This is now a matter of law, not up for trial. Now, there could still be an appeal by the SEC, so that remains to be seen. But as of right now, this was a ruling made by a judge in the Southern District of New York. And now we can see what happens moving forward with regards to not only the Coinbase lawsuit, but what is the SEC now going to do forward when it comes to regulating the digital asset space. Will they be the agency that regulates these transactions, these type of transactions? So we're still waiting to find out more from Congress and from the government to see if they will be building and creating the infrastructure and the laws needed to understand exactly what digital assets are going to be classified as. But as of right now, Ripple, or I should say XRP, the token, is not considered a security. So going into our next story is Vanguard, which is one of the largest asset managers in the world, now owns over $500 million worth of Bitcoin mining stocks. So as you can see here, they have $7.2 trillion in assets under management, and they now own a bunch of Riot and Marathon digital shares. So the Bitcoin mining stocks, which we've talked about in our last video, we definitely suggest that you go back and check out our last video where we delved a little bit deeper into the Bitcoin mining stocks and how well they have done so far year to date compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's done about 80% or so year to date, and a lot of the mining stocks have doubled, tripled, quadrupled depending on the stock. So Vanguard is jumping on board. They want to ride that train because as Bitcoin continues to go up, moving into the halving, and if it does do what it's done in the past, which has gone up astronomically after the halving, then these Bitcoin mining stocks could do just as well. So you can see here, asset manager Vanguard Group has upped its exposure to Bitcoin mining companies, and in their SEC filings, they increased its stake in the industry to over $500 million. So once again, they have over $7.2 trillion in assets under management. So that means that not only are Vanguard, and we looked at BlackRock, which has anywhere from $9 to $10 trillion in assets under management. A lot of these major investment firms, these institutions, big money is looking to cryptocurrencies to find that next ROI, that next return on investment. So it's something to definitely keep an eye on. And if you see where the big money is going, when they say follow the money, this is what we're talking about. Vanguard is definitely the money They have invested in Marathon and Riot. So we shall see. Those companies have done very well, as I mentioned, year to date. So we shall see what they do over the next 1 year, over the next 2 years, as we go into the Bitcoin halving and afterwards. So definitely get a chance to make sure you check out the Bitcoin mining stocks and check out that video. And another news item that we're going to get into really quickly, Celsius, which was one of the many, unfortunately, cryptocurrency firms and exchanges that went bankrupt in 2022. When you think about FTX, when you think about BlockFi, when you think about Voyager, those are a few of the crypto companies that ended up having to file for bankruptcy in 2022. The former Celsius CEO was just arrested this week, and the CFTC, which is the Commodities Commission, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission to be exact, has charged the exchange for scheming to defraud investors out of billions, and they have now levied a fine of $4.7 billion onto the now defunct crypto exchange. Most likely they will not be able to pay that $4.7 billion settlement because first they have to pay the creditors, including about 100,000 people or so, or investors that invested in some way, shape, or form into Celsius or have funds locked up on the exchange. So most likely the government will not get that $4.7 billion back, but that is one of the largest settlements that has been done by the CFTC and government regulators. So this is something that hopefully we will not see moving into the future as we learn more about these cryptocurrency exchanges and what they can and cannot do, as well as the classifications of these cryptocurrencies and what can and cannot be done on these exchanges. So one last bit of news that we'll just go to really quickly, as we've talked a lot about these spot Bitcoin ETFs that have been filed by many of the larger asset managers and banks in the United States. We see that Europe, their first Bitcoin ETF, is finally set to launch after about 12-month delay. They will be set to launch apparently sometime later on this month in July. They were going to be launched last year in 2022, but given all of the bankruptcies and the climate, just generally speaking, in investing, they decided to hold off. And now finally, this ETF is going to be traded on the European exchanges. So you can see here, Jacobi Asset Management originally announced that its Bitcoin ETF was to list on Euronext Amsterdam in July of 2022. But as you can see here, the fund is on track to launch this month, having decided that last year the time wasn't right following the Terra Luna cryptocurrency crash in May of 2022 and crypto exchange FTX's collapse in November. And we have done some videos on both of those occurrences from last year. So feel free to go back and check out those videos if you want to learn a little bit more about what Terra Luna cryptocurrency is and what happened with the FTX collapse. So now each ETF shareholder who owns a portion of this fund will also own a portion of the underlying asset. So that makes it different from which was considered an exchange traded note, which you can do now in Europe. Now you can get a piece of Bitcoin itself by buying into this ETF. And that's similar to what's going to happen if any of these Bitcoin ETFs are approved in the United States. You're actually essentially owning a piece of Bitcoin without actually having to buy the Bitcoin in pure form yourself. You now have a custodian basically in these investment firms who have that cryptocurrency for you, and you're able to buy and exchange this ETF through a major exchange or through your brokerage firm. So this is something that could definitely help the cryptocurrency market, particularly Bitcoin, if this becomes available around Europe, around the United States. And we just found out that Australia just got their first application for a Bitcoin ETF. So this is worldwide what's happening with cryptocurrencies and particularly with Bitcoin. So make sure that you stay tuned here to Networkchain. We will keep you posted on the happenings on the block. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to linking up with you on the network chain. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.